What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Super Gamer Boys. I'm your host, Colonel, and most handsome dad, Garrett Morlang. And here in the virtual studio with me is the king of video games and pocket poppy, Adrian Homeboy Holmes. What's up, Adrian?
What's going on, Mr. Morlang? Here we are again.
Here we are.
Monday is upon us.
We made it.
And Monday is getting ready to leave us once again. How's it hanging, man?
Oh, it's going. Yeah. It was a long weekend. I was telling you before the show, we got some bad news about the car. Not gonna make it.
R.I.P.
Yeah, just now trying to figure out what's the next steps, insurance. Hey, at least we don't.
The next step is walking, bud.
I guess so. Yeah, at this point, we're just out of a car. Insurance, unfortunately, doesn't just give you a ton of free money. They give you some money.
Well, they can't do that, or else they wouldn't make money. You know what I mean? True. Insurance is a racket. True. They gotta profit somehow.
Well, you're 100% right. You're 100% right. It's just like in my head, it's one of those things where you're like, oh, I have insurance, I'll be fine. Like everyone says that too. Like if you're in an accident, like, oh, as long as we're all safe, everyone makes it like, at least we got insurance. And now that I've had to actually use, this is like one of the first times that I've had to actually use my insurance.
And the guy behind the desk at the insurance place is like, yeah, at least you got insurance.
I'm just like, what? I paid you guys so much money. Like, what is going on here? This is it? This is all I get? Okay. Yep. Well, oh well. But hey, at least we're all alive and healthy, That's what matters. Me, my wife, and kids walked away. And as I'm complaining about insurance, please have insurance on your car, because that's the most annoying thing, I think, because the person who hit us doesn't have insurance, and it's really screwing us.
And lied about it.
Don't do that.
When you told me that, when you were like, oh, the person I hit, they were like,
who hit me?
Oh, sorry. The person that hit you.
Keep the story straight.
Okay, sorry. Your adjuster's watching. No, I'm kidding.
They're watching. Geico's always watching.
When the person that hit you was like, oh, I'm having some trouble with my policy, or I don't know what my information is, I was like, dude. The second you told me that, I was like, she doesn't have insurance and she's lying. And you were like, oh, we're going to give her the benefit of the doubt. I'm like, okay, bro, but I'm telling you, she doesn't have insurance.
Yeah, they had a card and it expired.
Oh, they had a card. They had somebody else's card that they keep on them just to make it look like they have insurance.
Yeah. No, I think it was just expired because it had her name and everything on it. This is like from a few months prior. And in my head, like I've done that before where I get insurance and the paper copy is an old card because I have the digital one on my phone. And so I'm just like, no big deal. Sure, whatever. I just believed her. And then later when I called it, it's like, oh, dang it. Well, that's the weird thing is they didn't say she doesn't have it. They said she might not have it. We don't know. So they don't know if she has it or not, which is weird. So it's going to be like
the insurance company can't find out if the other person has insurance, they don't have insurance.
So it's like they said it could be like a 6 week investigation. I'm like, how hard is it to just see if she paid her bill or not? Just look at the account. If there's money in there, she has insurance, right?
Because they probably had to do a background check because whatever insurance she said she has, she doesn't. So they have to run like a social security or, whatever kind of background database, government backed search engine thing that they have to do.
Something. I just thought that was so funny. I'm like, how do you not know something like that? Right. Like that just seems like you look and you see if they have it or not, but oh, well,
it's a lot of fly by night insurance places, man, so it's hard to keep them all on track. And that's what they want.
It's a pretty big one. It's not nothing. We'll see. Nothing too small, not to call them out. So I'm not gonna. I won't say who they are, but let's just say they're a pretty big one. Anyways, I guess we can talk about video games. People don't care. People don't care about our lives at all. They just care about. They just want us to dance like monkeys over here. Put on a show for them.
Talk about they're poking us. Talk about the game. Talk about the games.
Well, today. We got some good news for you folks. It's been a few weeks of
finally
not a lot of news stories. Let me tell you, we've been scraping the bottom of the barrel. If you guys haven't noticed, which if you haven't, we're doing a great job BSing. If you have noticed, we're sorry. There's just not been a lot of news. Like there's nothing. So it's kind of like, all right,
and what
talk about
news
this
there has been is awful.
Yeah, it's sad and a bummer. But we're here to bring your spirits back up. Today, we're talking about the resurrection of Tango Gameworks. WB looks to give other studios a chance with their IP, and PlayStation shares the why behind their layoffs. That was unintentional.
That was a Freudian slip if I ever heard one.
But honestly,
the why behind their lies. That's what I'm titling the clip. There you go. Thanks.
The why behind their layoffs and restructuring. But first, let's give a quick shout out to our Patreon producers, Bumble Smash, Kajoma01, and our Super Gamer sponsors, Julie Bates, Mama Mare, Carrie, and David Matthews. Shout out to those folks. If you want to be awesome just like them, head over to patreon.com/supergamerboys, where you can support us starting at just $1 a month. That's right, $1 each month gets you episodes early and ad-free all month long, such as this show, and exclusive access to our Patreon exclusive shows like Super Later Boys, early season Super Gamer Book Club, all of the content ad-free. You can go back to in the archive there, so go check that out. We'll talk more about that later on the show. Right now, I do want to give a huge shout out to Jack, Sriracha, Yate, and DJ Trooz for allowing us to use their music on the show. Tonight, we're listening to my DJ Trooz playlist. So if you're liking what you're hearing, click those links on the description if you're watching on YouTube or listening on podcast apps. Otherwise, go to Apple Music and Spotify and just search DJ Trooz. That's DJ Trooz. Get some sweet, sweet music in your ear holes. With that, it's now time to check the mail.
Is it? I thought we had a missive. I thought we had a sent in question or a sent in letter, huh?
Yeah, in the mail though. It's in the mail. We're not waking Super Gamer Bot yet. That's
what I was confused on.
Yes, no, sorry, yeah. This is not the typical avenue though of mail. We once again got a form submission from our website. Ranger over there just absolutely loves just the old timey form submissions.
Hey, I'm not mad at him. If it works Discord. For him, do your thing.
But hey, that's what it's there for, right? Someone's got to use it. No one else is using it. We're paying for it. Ranger writes back in. Ranger is back, boys. After listening to episode 254, I had a couple of questions. I agree with Adrian. I'm a continuity guy as well. So this is going to be really funny. I was reading through this, and I'm going to be transparent up front here. Reading through this question, there's a lot of this I don't remember. But that happens a lot when we do podcasts where like we hang up and
I don't remember as soon as we say, all right, flippity flop.
We'll catch you on
what
the flippity
did we talk
flop.
About?
Brain shuts down, or like immediately like empty recycle bin, everything's purged, like nothing. So we'll do our best here to answer Ranger's question about things that we said apparently. I am a continuity guy as well, and I've struggled the last couple of years because I've been very excited to play Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, but started the Yakuza games, and so far I've made it through Yakuza 0, which was absolutely phenomenal. I also played an old credits on Yakuza Kiwami 1, and I'm currently getting through Yakuza Kiwami 2. I feel that it is going to take quite a while to get through Yakuza 2 through 6, Judgment games, etc., to be in shape to play the newer Like a Dragon games. Still working on this series. Another example was to prepare for Final Fantasy Rebirth. I played Final Fantasy Remake first, then the next was DLC and Remission, and the updated version of Crisis Core, and moved on right on time to play Rebirth. Having all that knowledge, backstory to pull from while playing Rebirth was just awesome. But this took a lot of planning and preparation. I'm a busy boy. I have to go to work and take care of the kids. So 2 questions. 1.
Shoot.
Do you guys ever feel stuck in a game series to play previous installments before moving on to the current game? FOMO? ? And then 2, do you think there will be Final Fantasy Rebirth DLC? There was for Final Fantasy Remake. Feel free to elaborate on your Yakuza Like a Dragon experience too. I think they are so well done. It's like you're in a movie. I'm optimistic about the Amazon Like a Dragon live action show coming out later this year as well. Hope it's good. So first question. Do you ever feel stuck in a series? And the way I interpret that is basically like, I want to play the series, but I don't feel like I can because there's too much to catch up on, right? Do you have that? What's a series that kind of gets you like that?
I have to think, because I feel like the biggest ones are definitely Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest, right? For most people, because those are the ones that have a ton of games. I mean,
100%.
I have personally played them. I'm not gonna say I'm one of the rare few, because I'm sure that there's quite a few people who have played all the Dragon Quest and Final Fantasies, right? I have yet to play 16, but I've played the rest of them as far as Final Fantasy goes. And the only Dragon Quest that I haven't played is 10, because they never released it here in the States. So I think it's games that have that longevity and they have that incredible number of games. Like Ranger was just saying, Yakuza. I don't know if it's, I think you can look at it one of two ways. You can look at it as oh man, I have to catch up on all this stuff before I can get to the current thing, where it's like, it can be seen as a negative. But if you look at it a different way, you're like, man, I have all this stuff I get to experience and all this lore I get to get. Yeah. All this world building I get to unpack and go through. And because I'm doing it this way, not only do I get to enjoy the older things, right? I get to see the whole picture unfold that they intended for me to see if I were a player from start to finish, right? That's the reason that, Final Fantasy, they have enemies in the game that are from like Final Fantasy 2 or Final Fantasy 4, that you would only recognize if you played those games back in the day, or if you went back and played them, right? That's why they do that stuff, is because it's like, it's a love letter and it's appreciation letter for you who have been with us, or you who decided to go back to the beginning and come on this journey with us up until now, Yeah. And it's not just those two that do that. There's a lot of series that they put Easter eggs, or they'll reference, a deep cut in a side game that, most people didn't play. And I know that very well, right? I'm a uber Kingdom Hearts fan. So I know when they pull out deep cuts, I'm like, most people are like, who is that? And I'm like, oh, that's X character, it's like, so I think one can look at it in a way of, oh, I have to go through all this stuff. But if it's something that's genuinely interesting to you and it is highly regarded, no matter what the series is, I think it's better to come to it with the mindset of, I get to play all these games and I get to go through this experience. And then when I get to the new thing, I've already had so much of this awesome old thing. Now when the new thing, which is obviously going to be awesome, when I play that, I'm going to have way more context than like 80 to 90% of the people who are playing that game.
Yeah.
And I'm going to see things and I'm going to remember things and I'm going to feel things way differently than most people who play this game ever will. And that is, honestly, it's an accomplishment that I think you should be proud of if you decide to go on that journey and go down that path and fall down the rabbit hole until you get to where you want to be. So, yeah,
100%. Yeah, it's tricky. You nailed you hit the nail right on the head with what you mentioned with Final Fantasy, with Dragon Quest, Kingdom Hearts. Xenoblade Chronicles comes to mind. I didn't even have a lot of them, but just like, I just know there's such big games. Like there's like 3 of them, but it's like, man, I feel like I got to start at the beginning. And there's all I hear is about how massive they are. It's like,
but if you do, right, they're all massive, but they all rule, right? So it's not a slog. It's like, oh, I get to play this. I get to play all 3 Xenoblades. And then at the end, when Xenoblade 3, if there's things in there that tie all the way back to 1, you're going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe they did this. Yeah. Versus, oh, who is that? Oh, maybe they're a guy from another Xenoblade game, and it's going to hit so much harder.
I think Ranger kind of hits it on the head though as well, where he says, like, he mentions FOMO, and I think that's a lot of it, and not necessarily FOMO with the franchise I want to get into. What it is like, okay, I want to get into like Xenoblade Chronicles, and I want to, but it's going to take me hundreds of hours to do it. Now I'm missing out. For me, it's more of not a FOMO of missing out on that franchise. It's like, man, but if I invest in this one, now I'm missing out on new games that are coming out and all that stuff, which is like, again, it's just a me problem, but it's like, oh man, I'm missing out on this and this. Like, I'm not gonna be with how little game time I have in my day-to-day life, you know, with all the responsibilities and stuff I have. It's like, okay, so this is gonna take me like 2 years to get through, and then my backlog is 2 years bigger, you know. It's just like this never ending, like, eventually it's I gotta be pickier. I gotta be more picky with the games that I do invest in because of that, which is unfortunate, because there are franchises that are huge that I know that are just huge in the gaming space. Like they're major touchstones where people are like, oh, you haven't played this? And I'm like, yeah, no, I want to, but I literally can't, because if I feel like I do, it's gonna take me 2 years to get through all the games. Like if I was just playing them back to back to back, and then I would miss out on 2 years worth of games that I should be like talking about on a podcast, or that I want to talk to my friends about, or whatever it is. And this is hard. There's just too many good games out there, dude. It's tricky.
It's a great problem to have.
Yeah, not a bad problem.
I think honestly, you have to decide. It's honestly, it's up to the person. It's a decision. Do you want to commit to this, or do you want to, say, I acknowledge that this is a likely great franchise. I'm glad that it exists. I'm glad that the people who play it love it, but I just don't have the time to commit. It's really up to the person. So
100%. A couple other franchises I'd kind of mentioned. I was like Silent Hill. I just feel like there's so many of them.
All right, those I feel like
those are shorter. Those are shorter,
yeah.
But there are a lot of them. Like, because there's like like there's all the spin-offs and all this stuff. I'm like, okay, like that one always seems like an enigma to me. And then my last one I thought of was like Assassin's Creed. I played the first 3, but like from 3 to what was the most like whatever the most recent, like there's
the
a lot of
one.
Well, I mean, the Mirage came out last year or something. So,
that's right.
So between like 3 and Mirage, like there's so many, again, like mainline games, spin-off games, all this stuff, and like they're referencing all these different characters, and it's like, okay, like again, and that's one of those that you're mentioning that I don't feel is worth my time. Like I would love to, because I just, at least with the first 3 games, the story was interesting. Like, so what's happening, like the meta story, or the story that's happening outside of the Animus was always interesting to me, but not interesting enough to go through and play a lot of mid to bad games. It's generally pretty mediocre in between there, other than like there's a couple standouts, but generally it's like a lot of like, okay, is it worth playing hundreds of hours of these these Assassin's Creed games just for like, I don't know, like 7s? 6s.
No, that's fair. I think that's
So,
totally fair. Especially, I think that weighs a lot in the decision too, right?
Yeah.
If a series that you go into is very highly regarded, or just in the gaming space, and that there are a lot of excellent titles within the series, I think that helps your decision a lot more. It's like, yeah, I got a lot to play, but they're all like, 90% of them are bangers. So
exactly. Yeah, that was a good question. Oh, his second question: do you think there's going to be a DLC for Rebirth? I would like to think there would be, since there was for the first game. But here's my theory. The first game, it was DLC introducing Yuffie. I think this one they could introduce. I don't know if it's spoilers. I don't know.
Garrett, I know the story.
You've played the original one. What's the dude?
Spoiler alert for you if you haven't played Rebirth.
I can't remember his freaking name.
What does he look like?
He's like the vampire dude. You meet him in the coffin. Vincent. I think if they did like an introduction, even though we've already kind of been introduced to him, I think we got because Intermission was almost like a backstory, like leading up to when we meet Yuffie. So I think if they did like a DLC, like, all right, what's this deal's story? This dude's deal. What's his story?
You want me to let you in on a fun fact? So sure. there's a game, a Final Fantasy game.
Is this the bad
Final Fantasy VII? Yes. They could just remake that and make it the DLC.
What's it called?
Dirge of Cerberus. And it's literally what you're talking about. It's a backstory with Vincent.
Yeah, I have heard of that, and that it was absolutely trash.
The story is not bad. It's the gameplay that's bad.
Right. So if they could just make that good. That would be
and then just remake DLC. That one for one, and then just make a DLC. That'd be fun. Awesome. But I don't think they're gonna do it because I think they want to get whatever this last piece is out and just be done with the trilogy.
Oh, you don't think we're gonna get a DLC?
If we do, I don't think it'll be significant like Yuffie's DLC was. I feel like if they were to put the intermission stuff on top of Rebirth, I think people would have said it was too long. And they already say it's long, but I think just having to add Yuffie in there, even though it is technically canon that, she is introduced in the main story, which take it or leave it, I guess, technically, remake Rebirth, it is a bridge between the two, the intermission. It was a bold choice to cut it, but then Yuffie also isn't necessarily like she's not a Cloud Tifa Barrett level protagonist, right? Like we know her, we love her, but she's not a big three. So it's okay if she's introduced in a side story. If they did something like introduce Barrett or Tifa in like a side story, then people would have rioted in the streets. But
yeah, and now that I think
her,
of it too,
Sid, Vincent.
Yeah, now that I think of it too, like Yuffie wasn't introduced until Rebirth. So I guess technically if they did a DLC, it probably wouldn't be a character that was introduced in this game. It would be one that they would introduce next game, which I don't have the knowledge of characters, if there's any more characters that haven't been revealed yet in the game.
Was Kate Sith in Rebirth?
Yes, he was.
Okay, then there's nobody left really. So I don't know what else they could do.
Yeah. So, I don't know. You're right. Maybe there's not much there. It just seems weird for them not to. Like they've already set the trend. I mean, there's only been one, but with that one, they set the trend of like game, and then eventually DLC. So
I think they can get away with Rebirth not having DLC because it is so much bigger than Remake.
Beefier. Yeah, there's a lot more content in there. It's true.
And whatever they would have put in as DLC, I think they already just put in the game. So if they said, we're not going to do DLC, we're just going to focus on part 3, I don't think most people would be mad about it because it's like a literal 100 hours if you wanted to 100% that game. So
yeah, I think like they'll be fine. 90 something and 97 or 98 or something in there.
Right.
So it's a big game.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that is it for the form submission. But now we got some questions from Discord, which you can join by going to supergamerboys.com/Discord. Join for free. Hang out with us over there. And if you do try to join, there are some hoops you got to jump through. That's on purpose because we don't want bots getting in there and hacking our server. So I recently saw some of this last week. Actually, it's 2 days ago. They joined, but they didn't follow the section. The section that says read this first. Read the instructions. So if that was you, if you're listening to this right now and you try to join the Discord, you're like, there's nothing here. That's why. Read the instructions. Read the rules. Click the right buttons, and then you get in. It's easy. So easily a toddler can do it. Anyways, let's see if we can boot up old Super Gamer Bot here.
How's it hanging? Jump 1 and Jump 2? It's time for some questions. Did you pack your brains this time?
Did they call us Chump 1 and Chump 2? Is that what?
That's what it sounded like. Like we're Dr. Seuss characters, apparently.
I know, that's what I was thinking. I was waiting for the rhyme, actually. I was like, all right, is this jumping into like a Dr. Seuss rhyme? No. It's just a diss, just to repack our brains. I see, okay. Well, Super Gamer Bot, do you mind giving us that first question from Kajoma, please?
Kajoma asks, what are some of your favorite longer movies? These need to be at least 3 hours to count.
He wants some long movies from us. He says, he wants it to be pushing the 3 hour mark. So I took that as more, like 245 or more, like
perfect. Because I was going to cheat.
Because there are quite a few 3 hour movies. I Googled it, but there are a lot of old ones. And I'm going to be honest, a lot of them I haven't seen. There's a few of them I've seen. A lot of them I have not. And even the ones I have seen, I think historically you can say they're great, but personally I did not enjoy it. Like Titanic was one of them. Like, all right, yeah, that's a fine movie, And I know like historically it was like groundbreaking, but for me personally, I'm like, I'm not hankering to just watch Titanic whenever I have a chance.
Yeah, unfortunately.
I remember my grandparents had like the 2 VHS set, you know.
Whose family didn't have that? I feel like
it's true. It was like everyone had that. Did they like give it away for free like at McDonald's or something?
I don't think so.
Like,
I think it was just such a cultural impact that you had to have it at your house. You know what I mean? Just to seem like, oh, you're cultured. You own Titanic.
Yeah, you have the 2 VHS for Titanic. Oh, wow. What do you got? Do you have anything, or you want me to go first? I have a few.
I got one. Since we are allowing a little bit below. Blade Runner 2049. Phenomenal film. Dude. Phenomenal film. I don't care what people have to say.
I haven't seen either Blade Runner movie, and I want to so bad. Especially 2049. Like every time I see stills from that, I'm like, this is such a gorgeous movie.
It's stunning how good that movie looks.
Yeah.
And it has a great plot, and it has really good action too.
Okay.
Love it.
I need to watch those, and I need to get on that. My first few, it's funny. I started like going through stuff. I'm like, oh, just anything Quentin Tarantino, basically. I love all Quentin Tarantino. So I was like Pulp Fiction, Kill Bill, Django Unchained.
Yep, that's
like,
on mine too.
Anything, Inglourious Bastards, like they're all long, they're all great. Like
Hateful Eight.
I actually haven't seen that one.
It's great.
Hateful Eight, and then because those are the last two. Hateful Eight, and then
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I have it. I just haven't had a chance to watch through that one. But yeah,
Hateful Eight is so good, dude. It's such a great slow burn. It's a masterclass in the slow burns.
Okay, so good. I have Saving Private Ryan.
Okay,
movie,
solid,
very good. Gladiator.
Okay,
very good one. Which, have you seen anything about the second one? Is that?
I was gonna ask if you were excited about it or interested.
I don't even watch a trailer of it, to be honest. I see like ads on Instagram once in a while. I scroll by it, but I'm not interested. The first one was great. I felt like it didn't need a sequel. I don't know how they're gonna make a sequel, other than
you never know unless make it about somebody else.
I guess I haven't watched a trailer. Maybe I should watch a trailer and then I would know how they made a sequel. But I also this one's iffy because it's like it's around that like 245-ish, so it like barely crosses a threshold. But The Dark Knight, I feel
it's
like
245.
I think so. Yeah, I want The Dark Knight.
I mean, it's tied for the best, one of the best superhero. It's in a 3-way tie for the best superhero movie ever made. So
I'm sorry, I must have misread. It's 232, so it's under.
Okay.
That's under.
I'll still let it slide again because it's tied with Logan and Infinity War for best superhero movie ever made. So
yeah, Kajoma in his question does mention The Batman, which was the newer one,
which also was great.
That's 2 hours and 56 minutes. That's also almost 3 hours long. So that one's definitely in my list. That movie was fantastic. Saw it in theaters like twice. Pre-ordered it immediately, so I had it digitally as soon as it came out. Like I had to have The Batman. But yeah, I don't know. Do you have any more?
I do. I have, of course. I mean, we already said it, but the Lord of the Rings series, duh. Yes. That goes on without saying. I feel like we didn't even have to mention it because people knew from last week. But come on. I also have a personal favorite. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. It's just shy of 3 hours, but it is. As far as movies go, it's a masterpiece, and it's one of the best Western movies ever made.
That's Clint Eastwood?
Mm-hmm. Before he went crazy. But yeah, no, phenomenal movie. I'm trying to think.
I mean, like the Godfather movies. I haven't seen those though.
Yeah,
those are all
you haven't seen The Godfather?
No. Wild, right?
Dude.
I know. That's wild.
You gotta fix that, brother.
I have like a list of like a shame list of movies I haven't seen that I should see, and those series is on there for sure.
Schindler's List. Schindler's List is amazing. I don't know if you've seen that.
That's another one I haven't seen, but I've only ever heard just how hard of a watch it is.
It's an insanely hard watch, but man,
like how just like incredible as far as like the I don't know, the impact, cultural impact, and topic of the movie. Sorry, I was reading the chat. Carrie says 6 hour long Pride and Prejudice.
6 hours?
That's a thing? Is that it's not like a TV series, right? It's actually like a full on like 6 hour movie. That's insane.
Absolutely not.
Get out of here with that. That's no good.
Way, dude.
I couldn't handle like an hour and a half of Pride and Prejudice, let alone 6 hours.
6 hours is nuts.
It's a mini series, but it's sold like a movie. All right, so it's sold kind of like all like just in a DVD, basically.
I'm going through the list.
Colin Firth as Mr. Darcy.
Huh. Okay, if it's a miniseries, I feel like that's a little different.
I mean, but if it's generally packaged as a movie,
right?
Sit down, watch it in one go.
Oh, Wolf of Wall Street was fantastic.
Yeah.
Malcolm X was fantastic.
There's a lot of
with
good ones.
Denzel.
There's a lot of good ones.
Yeah, I mean, there's.
It's
tough when you get to the
all is one. She's a mad person.
I feel like she's just saying that to commit to the bit. There's no way you have that much time. 6 hours in a day. I mean,
she recently posted online that she's dealing with COVID, so maybe it's getting to her brain. It's making her crazy. She's watching Pride and Prejudice.
That's how she's passing the days. She just restarts Pride and just restarts it every day.
Oh man. By the way, I hope you get well soon, Kay. I hope you get well.
Of course.
Soon.
Oppenheimer.
That's another one. I just got that. It's in my library. I need to watch it. We borrowed it from our library, and I need to watch it soon. All right, we should get go. We got news stories to talk about. We got one more question. In fact, this next one is from Carrie. Whoa, what the frick? Hey, there's a bug just crawled out on my desk. It was so big. Where did it come from?
Yeah, living in those dust bowls, those SoCal dust bowls. That's what you get.
I'm living in the barn.
Get some scorpions in there.
So hot and humid. All the bugs are coming out because of humidity. Anyways, Carrie asks this next question. Can you give that to us, please, Super Gamer Bot?
Carrie asks, if you could live in a video game, what game would you choose and what would you do there?
If you could live in a video game, what game and what would you do?
Carrie, why would you even? You know what I'm gonna?
I know exactly what Adrian's gonna say.
Yeah, you do. It's Animal Crossing. Come on.
I thought it was Animal Crossing.
What are we talking about?
If it was anything else,
what do you mean?
I would have quit the show. If you said anything, I would just have ended stream and walked off right now.
What are we talking about? You know, I mean, if I had to pick an alternative, it'd be Twilight Town. From Kingdom Hearts or
Kingdom Hearts. Okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What would you do?
Or no, it'd be either Twilight Town or Traverse Town, one of the two. In Animal Crossing, I would probably work with Pelly at the post office.
Okay. That would be fun.
In Traverse Town, I feel like I don't have a whole lot of options outside of working at the that stupid little restaurant that when you first come in, or I have to work at the items and weapon shop with Huey, Dewey, and Louie, which probably would be a good time. That'd probably be a good time.
That sounds like a blast, honestly.
Right.
I don't know. I feel like
I was gonna say you don't want to live in Metal Gear World. I just want to put that in your brain before you answer that.
We already live in Metal Gear World.
Exactly.
Okay?
Exactly.
That's just
and
the real
sucks.
world. The shadow government running the worlds.
Right.
Nuclear weapons, trading hands and being taken by terrorist groups, and meanwhile the rest of the
artificial intelligence ruining,
taking over the world as well. And
we have our own literal GW now.
Yeah, the whole world's run on war economy. It's Metal Gear's real. Anyways, no, I don't. This was tricky. I mean, the first thing that popped in my head was either Animal Crossing or, oh shoot, why? My brain's been doing this all night tonight, where I just blank on the name of the thing.
What does it look like? What are you doing?
Stardew Valley. Like that seems like a no-brainer. Although there's stuff in there that can hurt you pretty good. But I think if you like,
Only if you go
gonna-
looking for it.
Yeah, it's true. Like if you just strictly just like I'm just gonna chill on the farm and
And go to town and
go to town, hang out. Like I don't know, it'd be kind of nice. Let's get it like at least for like an escape. I don't know if I'd want to live there all the time. That's basically how I grew up in upstate New York, like kind of like middle nowhere rural area. But like a nice little vacation. Like if I could just take 6 months and just like go off the grid for a little bit, that'd be awesome. I don't know. Yeah. I keep thinking of other worlds or like from different video games, but unfortunately, a lot of the times things don't go well for those places. So if I could live there, like way in the past where things don't go wrong
before the
like,
events of whatever game happened,
then that would be great. Or something I actually thought about earlier. I'm like, honestly, if I was rich. Like if I was like rich and high up in some business, some CEO, like Cyberpunk 2077, not terrible. It's really just crappy for like everyone else. But if you're like a corpo,
you want to live in Night City? Oh,
It's not.
I was gonna say you have to be a corpo.
Exactly. That's what I was saying. Like if you're a corpo, if you're rich, like it's not bad Night City. It's just for everyone else. So unfortunately, my current situation, I would be living in the streets, probably selling my body. But I meant pieces of my body, because there's rippers and they, use your, arms and legs. And
Right.
That's what I meant.
Okay.
What were you thinking, Adrian? Come on.
Nothing at all. Continue.
Both of those things are in Cyberpunk, so yeah,
that's true.
I think it's probably if I had to really nail down, pick something that was like just chill, it'd be Stardew Valley though. That's like the most chill.
Okay, I'm not mad at it.
All right. Well, that is it for the mailbag. Thank you so much for writing in. Remember, if you want to write in, you can write in over on our Discord, supergameboys.com/Discord. Join us over there. Read the frickin' rules, and then you can get in. That's all it takes. Is just read the instructions. It's easy, please. Or you can submit on our website like Ranger does, like the good old days. But then you miss out on all the fun conversation we have about what we're playing, what we're watching, music we're listening to. And you shouldn't miss out on that because it's a lot of fun. So please join us over there. Anyways, it's now time for the nerdy nudes.
It's now time for the nerdy nudes. I feel rusty on that one. I don't know why.
It's been
That's
a minute,
okay.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's only been a week. All right. This first news story comes to us from IGN, written by Adam Bankhurst. Hi-Fi Rush IP and Tango Gameworks acquired by Krafton from Xbox. Studio will no longer be shut down.
Let's go, baby! Woo! Hi-Fi Rush is saved! Woo!
It is alive and well,
Yes!
like a phoenix rising from the ashes. PUBG
we almost
publisher,
lost a great one.
Right. PUBG publisher Krafton has acquired Tango Gameworks and the Hi-Fi Rush IP from Xbox, meaning the studio will no longer be shut down. Krafton shared the news in a press release alongside, confirming that as part of this strategic agreement, Krafton intends to collaborate with Xbox and ZeniMax to ensure a smooth transition and maintain continuity at Tango Gameworks, allowing the talented team to continue developing the Hi-Fi Rush IP and explore future projects. Krafton intends to support the Tango Gameworks team to continue its commitment to innovation and delivering fresh and exciting experiences for fans. The press release continues. There will be no impact on the existing game catalog of The Evil Within, The Evil Within 2, Ghostwire Tokyo, and the original Hi-Fi Rush game. In May 2024, Microsoft announced that it had closed a number of Bethesda studios, including Tango Gameworks and Redfall's Arcane Austin. I forgot about that, yeah. This was obviously met with shock and anger by developers and fans alike, especially after Microsoft executive Aaron Greenberg said on Twitter in the past that Hi-Fi Rush was a breakout hit for Xbox and its players and all the key measurements and expectations. Hi-Fi Rush hit 2 million players a month after release and received very positive reviews. In our Hi-Fi Rush review, we gave it a 9 out of 10 and said it marches the beat of its own drum with stunning animation, lovable characters, and stylish, rhythmic action that are anything but one note. So yeah, that was freaking amazing news. Very unexpected. Because what happens a lot of times is these studios just shut down and that's it. Like, that is it. I mean, THQ Nordic is different. That was surprising. That was shut down for years. And then literally out of nowhere, like a decade later, it's just like, we're back, you know?
And we're buying everything.
Yeah, and we're gonna buy everything back. But this was amazing. Because we were so bummed. Hi-Fi Rush was freaking just
It was one of my top games of the year.
Exactly. It was like up there with some of our games of the year. Just an incredible studio to put out some incredible games. Like the Evil Within series, like that's extremely highly regarded horror series. Ghostwire Tokyo, I know didn't review super well, but it wasn't a terrible game. So,
right,
man, this my question is, because I assume when it got closed down, people left or got laid off, right? Or do you think this deal was already kind of in the works? They just couldn't say anything about it.
I think it might be the latter, or at least maybe it came so quickly after they gave the news of the shutdown that the team was notified in time before they all started to leave.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the Krafton came in and, you know, and our Xbox told them, hey, we might have somebody that wants to, you know, acquire you guys. Nobody go anywhere yet. You know, let's play this out and see where this goes. And if it doesn't go anywhere, then you know what I mean? We'll do the severance. We'll call it a day. But you should stick around for this and just see where this goes, or stay on call, you know, if you're able to. And I don't see anything in the article where it says that, you know, a bunch of people left or a bunch of people, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
right?
They make it sound like it's just business as usual. Like they're just continuing on, like everything's good. And so
it must have been within the window of that time before or between when people would have left and when they were able to just wrangle everybody in and say, hang on, we might have something, you know?
Right. Yeah, I don't know. Absolutely stoked about this news. I'm excited, and I hope it means we get, like it says, in their press release here, allowing the talented team to continue developing the Hi-Fi Rush IP. So I hope that means we're getting DLC or some sort of sequel out of this. Like that would be awesome.
Baby. I want Hi-Fi Rush 2.
It'd be so sick. Yeah, good on them. Excuse me. I wish stuff like this happened more often, because more and more, like we talk about week after week, all these layoffs. Every couple months, a new studio another studio shutting down, and it's like, man, like I wish there was more. Now I don't know Krafton's track record. I know they've worked on PUBG and a bunch of other like random mobile games and smaller games and stuff like that. But
that's all we know.
I don't know. I hope that with this purchase, that Tango Gameworks is allowed to continue to make games that they're passionate about, and as I was saying, like I wish this happened more, where like some bigger publishers and developers like who have the money can buy these studios, and then but still allow them to like make what they want to make. Like, man, that would be ideal, because obviously, like the big ones like Microsoft and like Sony and EA and whoever, like they're so quick to like shut studios down, and then it's like, oh wait, but that was a game that they had so much history in that studio, you know, like
right.
Whether it's IP or just the talent that worked there, you know, maybe it's not an old studio, but man, this is a writer or producer or director that's worked on these crazy hit games. And I like freaking the guy who did the Evil Within, wasn't he formerly from like Silent Hill or something like that, or some prior horror game?
Resident Evil. Capcom.
Resident Evil. That's what it was. Yeah.
Shinji Mikami.
Yeah. But yeah, exciting news. I'm glad to get back a second wind here.
Stoked. Welcome back, Tango. I'm glad we didn't lose you. And I'm glad we didn't lose Hi-Fi Rush. I'm ready.
That was the biggest fear to me, anyways. Was this like, is that IP just like, I know it's
Done?
not technically, I know it's not technically dead. Like any of the other Xbox studios could pick it up, but will they? You know,
Right. I feel like they all have their own things to work on.
They have their own stuff to work on. It definitely felt like a passion project to Tango. Like it very much was like this is just a game we want to make for the fun of it. And, you know, so the fact that they get to keep it, they keep working on it. It's exciting. Love it. You love to see it. This next news story comes to us from George Yang, written over at GameSpot. Warner Brothers Games wants to give other studios a chance on its franchises. Warner Brothers Games has revealed plans to license its IPs out. Given the high interest from third-party developers, as well as the success of games like Hogwarts Legacy, on a recent investors call, Warner Brothers Discovery CEO David Zaslav said, "We have 11 studios here, and we have a lot of IP, and there's a lot of interest among others in coming to take advantage of some of that IP for gaming, which we're looking at." He continued, "Because as president of Global Streaming and Games, JB Perrett said, we need to get bigger, and the IP that we own and the value that it has in the gaming space is something we're looking to take advantage of." Zaslav explained that the success of Hogwarts Legacy was because players were able to immerse themselves into the world, and now Zaslav wants to make video games more of a priority. Perret also noted on the call that Warner Brothers is looking to grow in its free-to-play gaming business in order to balance out the cyclical and more hits-based nature of premium console and PC games. As part of that initiative, that's why Warner Brothers acquired Player First, the developer behind the free-to-play game Multiverses. The cyclicity, that can't be a word, can be seen by Suicide Squad Kill Justice League's underperformance, which caused Warner Brothers gaming revenue to decrease by 41% when compared to last year, which saw the release of Hogwarts Legacy. Still, Warner Brothers is doubling down on live service games. So the moral of this article is, on one hand, they're learning that, we should let other third-party studios who are passionate about some of these IPs to work on them.
What a concept.
But on the other hand, they haven't learned anything, and they're still very committed to, at least in-house with their first-party studios, just putting out free-to-play garbage. Like, I don't understand. They're
trying to have it both ways.
They want it.
And it's not going to work.
I feel bad for the people working at Warner Brothers Games then, because they're just going to be relegated to making all these free-to-play games. Meanwhile, all the third-party studios are going to get all the fun projects. Like, people are going to start leaving because they'd be like, I want to make something cool. I don't want to just make this stupid like mobile game or whatever you're having me make over here. But yeah, you're right. They like want to have their cake and eat it too, in a sense, where they want to make all the money from the hits without having to spend all the time and effort on the hits.
Doesn't work like that, unfortunately.
I mean, it shouldn't work like that, but I don't know. We'll find out. We'll see what happens, I guess, in the next few years. I am excited about this, though. Like, I do want to give like top level what I'm thinking about this. This is awesome because, granted, like they don't like they have good studios over there, but again, because they're so hyper focused on free to play or
making a profit
or like games full of microtransactions and things, then. Well, okay, then we're not getting good quality games from the good studios they have. Unfortunately, we're just getting mediocre games, even though they're still great studios. Like friggin' Rocksteady, having to just put out trash. But if they can start putting stuff out to third-party developers, if we can get some more good Batman games, get some more great, for people who care, good Harry Potter games. I have a buddy who loves Harry Potter games, stuff like that. That'd be awesome. I mean, their IP, they have such a massive library of IP. Like, that's just scratching the surface. Batman in freaking Harry Potter is scratching the surface. Like, they have so much that can be made into games, and get other people who are passionate about it would be amazing. I don't know. Is there an IP of theirs that you can think off the top of your head that you would be like a Warner Brothers IP that you would love to see made into a game?
I'd love for somebody to take a serious crack at Lord of the Rings again and not make a Gollum. You know what?
That's true.
It's gonna be a near impossibility because of how bad the last one was, but I would legitimately love if somebody took a real stab at a Gollum game, because I think there is something there. I think the one we got was just so poorly done that it scared people off. But Gollum has a lot of depth as a character, you know? And I think it could have been interesting to visit that story, but it's not going to happen now because the other one flopped so bad. But
yeah,
you know?
Did you know that there's a live action Gollum movie coming out?
Is Andy Serkis in it? Because if he's not, I don't want to see it.
He's like directing and producing it and acting in it.
But I was going to say, is he Gollum in it? Because
Yeah,
I'll go
he's
see it if
doing-
he is.
He's doing everything. I
Okay.
had no idea.
Then I'm in.
I was reading an article the other day about how much the actors got paid in Lord of the Rings. Apparently, they didn't get paid a lot.
By today's standards or by 1999 standards?
It was an interview with Cate Blanchett. She was recently in the Borderlands movie.
Ouch.
So it's not great.
Side note, I kind of want to see it.
I
want to see how bad it is.
Right. So I want to see how bad that train wreck is. She was saying that she just mentioned, she's like, yeah, we didn't get paid much. Like basically she got to keep her, she got
Her robe.
her robe and her elf ears or whatever. Like that was kind of it. Like she didn't give an exact number, but then the article referenced an interview with Orlando Bloom from last year. And Orlando Bloom mentioned, he's like, oh, we only got paid like, he got paid like $175,000.
Oh, poor baby. Oh,
that's a lot.
You only got
that's a lot of money.
175 grand.
That's a lot of money. But he's at the time and even now, like that wasn't a lot for Hollywood actors. Like that wasn't like you think about it. That was for all three movies. That's not even just for that was for all three.
Okay, that's different.
Yeah,
that's
for all
different.
three. But he says in his interview, like they mentioned they quoted his interview. He's like, I would honestly do it again though for half that money. Like it was such an incredible experience. I'm
I
like,
bet.
yeah, like I couldn't imagine. That would have been so much fun. Oh man. Anyways, I don't know how we got on that topic. Oh yeah, Lord of the Rings movies and games. Yeah, if we could get some good games. Honestly, if they just like remastered, they just need to remaster the ones they made for like PS2. You know, like the Two Towers and Return of the King and stuff like that. That'd be so good.
Call it a day.
Call it a day. Good to go. Yeah. Oh, I forgot. Okay, so they have Mortal Kombat's that's a WB Games as well. But no,
but Mortal Kombat 1 ruled.
Yeah, they got that locked down. They're doing pretty good with that. They don't have any issues with that. Yeah, it's just like recently with like it's mostly with DC stuff. DC stuff is where it's like been suffering between Suicide Squad, Gotham Knights. Gotham Knights went free. Both of those actually. Did you know this? So
what?
Gotham Knights was free on PlayStation Plus, sorry, I should say, like a couple months later. And then Suicide Squad, I got for free through Amazon, through Twitch Prime. If you're a Prime subscriber, you get free games, and Suicide Squad was free. I haven't downloaded or tried it because it's terrible. But
no point.
I got it. I was like, oh, okay. It only came out like just a few months ago, and they're already giving away for free on Amazon. So that's where the state of DC is. So yeah, I don't know. I don't have anything in particular with other than Lord of the Rings. I think more Lord of the Rings games that are good would be awesome. But I can't think of anything else off the top of my head. I'm just glad they're at least starting to get open to it, because obviously, like, again, I mean, it just depends on how much freedom they give the third-party studios. But at this point, yeah, they're in-house studios. They're really not giving them much freedom. It seems like they're kind of so. It's like, all right, Hogwarts Legacy was a success. Hopefully, they can kind of just do that again, but with different IPs. You know, that would be great. That'd be great. All right, you got anything else to add to that one?
No. I guess, good move, WB, realizing that just like how EA did with Star Wars, you know what? We should let some of these companies who want to make games for us pay us to make games. You know what I mean? And if we get good press out of it and get good games out of it, that only looks good on us, right? That only makes us look better, because we can say, oh yeah, we know how to pick them. We know who to work with. You know what I mean? Is it slimy? Yeah. Sure. But we as the gamers, we as the players, we get good games out of it. So I'm not really going to complain that much,
That's all that matters. Give me some good games.
Yep.
All right, this last news story is interesting, to say the least. PlayStation tries to explain away their layoffs here. PlayStation Studios.
Oh no! Wait, no, you did it wrong. What was the thing you said at the beginning?
Oh, the layoffs. I wouldn't say
it was like
layoffs,
the something
and I said
behind
layoffs.
the why behind the lie. That's what it was.
Yeah, the why behind the lie.
PlayStation explains the why behind the lie.
PlayStation Studios aiming to continuously release hit titles, says Sony. This is from Zarmina Khan over at PlayStation Lifestyle. Sony Group has said that PlayStation Studios are aiming to consistently and continuously release hit games. To achieve this, Sony Interactive Entertainment is making an effort to refine its development processes and release schedules. PlayStation Studios developing games under new management structure. Having previously acknowledged that PlayStation Studios are struggling with maintaining sustainable profit margins despite releasing best-selling games, Sony announced that it was restructuring the PlayStation division. As part of the process, more than 900 roles were eliminated, and a new management structure was implemented under the joint CEOs Herman Hulst and Hideki Nishino. Announcing its first quarter financial results for fiscal year 2024 yesterday, Sony told investors in an earnings call that Studio Business Group is strengthening its development schedule management and optimizing development projects in order to consistently and continuously release hit titles. What a word salad there. Meanwhile, Sony's platform business group will focus on maintaining and expanding the number of active PlayStation users while strengthening user engagement. The goal is to establish a stable earnings base as a matter of priority. PlayStation did not release any major first-party blockbusters this year, but did publish quite a few console exclusives. 3 smaller first-party games are scheduled for fall 2024: Concord, Astrobot, and LEGO Horizon Adventures. So this... obviously, the main gist of this article is to talk about, hey, the plan from here on out is we're gonna have a more consistent banger after banger after banger, games. Basically, they're realizing that this taking a year off thing probably wasn't a great idea. It was probably necessary because of the shakeup at the studio, at the company, but also like, oh, this is hurting us. But I love how they also kind of sneak in there like, and this is also the reason why we've been laying off so many people the last like 6 months.
All right, dude.
They kind of, in a way, they kind of pass the buck off. Like Herman Hulst, it's almost like Herman Hulst and Hulst and Nishino over there are kind of like, it was Jim Ryan's fault. We had to come in here and clean up his mess. Like that's what it kind of comes across like. It's kind of like they walked in the studio and everything was on fire. I mean, they just had to which it could have been. It could have been the case.
That part of it,
like
I don't have a problem with, right? Because as the meme says, and of course this is a joke. I want to preface this is a joke, right? The meme is all my homies hate. I'm fine with that because all my homies hate Jim Ryan, so I don't care about that. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I feel like they're pointing to everything except for, maybe we shouldn't have made, 3 or 4 $200 million games at the same time in so close together in, you know what I mean, between PS4 and PS5. Maybe we would have had some money left over to actually make more games, if we didn't do Last of Us and then Ghost and then Horizon and then remake Bloodborne all in like the span of 5 or 6 years,
it's there is definitely better financial
and God of War and Spider-Man
made,
and all these other games that cost 200 million plus.
But I think that is what this article is saying, though, is like that is their plan going forward, is to continue to make big games like that. But they're
already see it doesn't work.
But they're making cuts other areas in order for it to be sustainable, basically. Because what they found is it was becoming more and more sustainable or unsustainable because of how poor the management. Again, this is their words. I think that's why they had the restructuring and the layoffs, because they realized like, oh, we used to be profitable making games that like this, and the reason we're not now is because there's just too much bloat, and they needed to purge, which is unfortunate for the people who are in those roles, obviously. But from a business point of view, like it doesn't make sense. Like, all right, like if you have people you don't really need there on staff, then why are they here? Like they are just burning. But
reason
But it also comes down to like they could have cut costs other ways, whether it's, like we've talked about, like that games don't need to be like billions of dollars for each game. Like make smaller titles that make just as much money as those big games, but cost less
Bingo.
to make and whatnot. Like other ways to make it work. I don't know.
It was profitable because they had a tentpole game, and then they had a bunch of AA to single A games to support around that tentpole until that tentpole game came out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
That's true.
Most PlayStation consoles maybe get in their system lifetime, they get what? We'll say in 5 to 6 years, they get 2, maybe 3, like A-level marquee putting on the back of the console box games, right?
Right.
But now, like I said, if you look at the back of a PS5 box, they've got 6 or 7 games.
I mean, yeah,
all
the
lined
PS4
up.
was like that, and the PS5, like since PS4, it's been like that. Yeah, it's just
Right. And that's when they started losing money. So
yeah. So I don't. On one hand, it's like, all right, I see what you're doing with the layoffs and trying to restructure and get things like back in tip-top shape. But I just hope that sentiment expands to their philosophy on game making as well. Like, all right, if you need to cut back on the people, on management and the roles and like everything, that was great. Okay, it's not, I don't like it, but okay. But don't just stop there. Like, also adjust the budgets of the game. Like, make it more reasonable, because it's I don't know, it's just that wasn't the only issue. Making the games, having too many staff wasn't the only issue. It's also the insane budgets for the game. So yeah, I guess it's one of those things where like, all right, I don't agree with it, but I see what you're doing with laying people off. But make it worth their while. Then go ahead and make games that are, again, AA, single A, whatever, but that are still very good. Don't cost as much though. Still make the studio a lot. Don't just lay people off for the sake of laying people off, because I guarantee you,
please,
because if they just continue to make bigger and bigger games, another 2 or 3 years, they're gonna be like, well, we're still not making enough money, and so we're going to lay off more people. It's like, well, that's not how this works. Don't just keep making bigger games.
Laying people off should be like the last resort.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, we've tried everything else and nothing else is working. Unfortunately, we are going to have to let some people go.
Yeah.
Okay, at least you did like your due diligence and really tried, to turn things around, and it just didn't end up panning out. Yeah. That's fine. But if your first instinct is to go after the people, I feel like your priorities are out of whack.
Yep. That's
because if you need those games made, who's going to make them if you get rid of people?
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Getting rid of people should always be a last resort.
Right.
Because when you get rid of people, they might on paper look like just some low level whoever, like, all right, they're just a number on a piece of paper, but who knows? That person might have had like some incredible idea that could have just
went crazy
in the next game they were going to develop, like change the entire tide of the game. And now they're gone because you wanted to save a buck instead of finding some other way to save a buck. So I don't know. We'll see how it all pans out for PlayStation Studios. I just can't wait for them to finally put out games again. It's been, they say, I mean, technically they haven't put out any games this year, but really, if you look at it, they've barely put out any games the last 4 years. So I'm just ready. It's been 4 years without a game, PlayStation. Give us something, please. Give us something interesting, entertaining. I don't know. Not to say they haven't put out good games, but you know what I mean. Something for my PlayStation. We've had the discussion before. PlayStation 5 specifically. Give me a reason.
Please. I don't want GTA 6 to be the only thing that I'm looking for this console. You know what I mean? GTA 6, Final Fantasy, which isn't even your game. Like,
I mean, neither is GTA.
What are we doing?
Neither one of those are their games.
Right.
Third parties are carrying hard right now. All right. Well, that's it for the nerdy nudes. Now it's time for a Patreon ad.
Roll them.
All right, this is the part of the show where I tell you to go to patreon.com/supergamerboys. Support us over there starting at just $1 a month. That's right. $1 each and every month gets you episodes early and ad-free, such as this show, as well as access to our Patreon exclusive shows, such as Super Later Boys, previous seasons of Super Gamer Book Club, and all of our archive of show ad-free. Think about supporting us there, just $1, and you get all that. $5 a month. You can support us at $5 each and every month. Get all that previous perk I mentioned, as well as the show notes each and every week. You can see exactly what we're going to be talking about on this show. All the questions, all the news stories, all the what you're playing, whatever it might be. And you can leave your own questions, comments, concerns right on the Google Doc. That's right. So if you have thoughts about the news stories we talked about, if you have answers to the listener questions, or maybe you want to share what you're playing, go ahead and drop it on that doc if you support us there. And if you don't, you could. $5 a month. You could be a part of the show, have your voice heard right here each and every episode. It's especially useful for some of those people who maybe aren't able to make it every week, because we do live stream this on Monday nights, and you can join us here in the chat. But if you're not able to make it, that's a good way to have your voice heard and share your thoughts on what's happening in the gaming world. Next here is a $10 Patreon. That is the Super Gamer sponsor tier. $10 a month. You get those previous perks, which is early and ad-free episodes, show notes, and a big old shout out at the top of each and every episode here at Super Gamer Boys. When we kick it off, we read those names, and we love doing it. It's so much fun reading those names off and knowing that we got some awesome people backing us up to keep making cool stuff for you folks. So if you want to get over there and have your name read off on there, get those show notes, get the early episodes early and ad-free, think about supporting us at the $10 level. And then there's a top dog tier, Patreon producer, $15 a month. Boy, it's a big dog tier, but we appreciate those folks who have supported us over the year. We've had quite a few of them, and they are amazing, as are all of our Patreon producers, sponsors, and we have names for all the tiers. You'd think I would know them since I made them, but I don't. $5 and the $1 tier, I think they have names as well, but here we are. We appreciate them all. But if you want the big dog tier, the Patreon producer, $15 a month, you get all those previous perks and the chance, the possibility, the ability to speak to us directly and share an idea for a segment of the show. If you have an idea, you could pitch that segment to us. I always recommend getting it vetted first. If you're like, hey, I got this idea, what do you think? Excuse me, share it with us. We've only had like 1 or 2 that we've ever shut down. And I'm glad we shut it down before they supported us, because I would have felt bad. But support us at $15 a month, and you can have segments. We've had segments in the past from Kajoma. We had Kajoma Card Game Corner and Tall Tales with JJ, and we've had Adrian did Super Indie Boys, and we've had Losing Reviews. We've had a D&D segment before. We've had all sorts of fun stuff. We had some movie reviews that Adrian was doing, or not Adrian, JJ was doing for a little bit. So think about supporting us at that $15 a month tier if you think you have some fun content that you want to be a part of. That's the other catch of it. You don't just pitch the segment. You can also be a part of that if you'd like. And think about supporting us over there. Patreon.com/SuperGamerBoys. You can also support us over at sgbstore.com. You can buy some sweet merch. We got our summer collection up right now. Might not last much longer. We'll see. We already got some new stuff in the works. So if you want summer stuff, summer is coming to an end eventually. Anyways, so better get over there.
Thank goodness.
Get that summer collection, Super Gamer Summer. We got t-shirts, we got board shorts, we got cups, mugs, whatever you need for summer. Hats, we got it. So sgbstore.com. And then actually, I'm wearing a shirt right now. Check it out. There's me and Adrian. Looking good. Last but not least, you can subscribe to us on Twitch if you want to support us that way. It's only $6 a month typically, which is a lot. That's a lot. But if you have an Amazon Prime account, you can link that to your Twitch account and drop a free Prime Gaming subscription on our channel. Cost you $0. We still get the same amount as if it was a $6 sub. So whether you have Amazon Prime, your grandma, your aunt, your best friend's uncle, I don't know. Find someone who has Amazon Prime, link it to your Twitch account. Get those perks. I was just talking earlier about all the free games, you know. You can get Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League for free on Amazon Prime right now. I think there actually is a thing right now where if you subscribe, I don't know if it works with Amazon Prime, but if you subscribe to a channel, you get 3 months of Apple TV as well. So subscribe to our channel and get some cool perks, and use that free sub if you want to help us and not pay it, but use Jeff Bezos's money, you know. That would be fantastic. And with that, let's go ahead and get back to the show. All right, Adrian.
Yes, sir.
I got a big question for you, and that is, what you playing?
All right, I've been waiting for this section right here, man. I got some fantastic news. So as of yesterday, my GameCube is back in working order, baby.
Oh, nice. I didn't realize it was out of order.
Yeah, it's been out of whack for quite a while.
Okay.
The unit would power on and like the fan would go, but the disk drive would not spin or read discs at all, and I couldn't get a video out signal to the TV. So I was able to find a GameCube for parts up in Sacramento.
It's been down for a while, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Because did it do? I feel like when you came down here, you brought it, and wasn't it acting funny? Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was acting up when you visited me. That was like
So it's been a while. Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
So I found a GameCube that I got pretty cheap for parts, and swapped some stuff out here and there, and she's back up. She's back up and running like a charm, man. So
nice.
that was a highlight of the weekend for me.
That's so awesome. So great.
So been playing a good chunk of that, just kind of going back and forth between different games and whatnot. Man, it's just, I don't know, man. It's just such a good looking piece of kit. Like, it's up on my shelf right now on my dresser, and like I took the PS5 down because I just wanted to see like what would this look like if it was my only system, and it kind of fits still. Like, it's like a nice looking little piece of kit, and I have all my other controllers just kind of laid out under it, for like 4-player games and stuff like that. I don't know. It's nice. It's so a well-designed console.
I love it.
And it's got a fun little library. So yeah. That's a major part of what I've been playing. And then on the handheld side, been playing some Tearaway on Vita.
Oh, yeah.
I still stand by that game is a masterpiece in my opinion, top to bottom. It's Media Molecule is just untouchable when it comes to creativity, man. Like, their only rival is probably Nintendo, to be honest, when it comes to creativity in games.
No, it's
and
true.
and it's on full display in Tearaway. I adore that game, and I love that it makes me, even when you get down about stuff for a little while, and you kind of pop into that, and it's just the joy and the whimsy. It almost like forces you out of whatever brain funk you're in just by interacting with it, and it's just like, man, they really know how to create what's the word where like it's something that pulls you in. Like almost like a gravitational force of just like, if you play this game, we are going to make you happy for as long as you play. You know what I mean? And they're so good at that. So
good. Yeah, that's one. I mean, I never had a Vita, but they made like the remastered version for PS4. Was it called like Tearaway
Unfolded, I think, something like that.
Or something
they
like
had
that.
to cut a lot of stuff because a lot of the features were
using the touch
Vita-centric.
controls, right?
Yeah, touch controls. It did the camera, touch screen, all that. So
yeah. So
Back
I
touch.
remember getting that. They gave it away for free on PlayStation Plus, but I never got to go through it. But everything I've ever seen of Tearaway, and I've played the Little Big Planet games. Like, you're right. Like Media Molecule is just on a whole nother level. It's so sad that they just get, I don't know, so mistreated. Are they now? I don't know.
they're still around. They have not. Trust me. I have like a little thing, an alert.
I just had like
I'm
this
so
weird,
scared
I just
that
had this weird
PlayStation is going to do
flash in my
something
head
stupid.
yeah, like something bad happened. But I think there was some layoffs, wasn't there though? Like there
was some, but I don't think that they were anywhere. They weren't. There was no talk of closure, but with Sony, dude, I don't know. And I really, 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 they already made the mistake with Japan Studio. I really hope they don't make a stupid mistake and try to close Media Molecule. That would honestly, if they close Media Molecule, I feel like any trace of what PlayStation used to be would be gone.
Yeah.
Because now it's all the same. We make third person, over the shoulder, action adventure games that are super heavily story based, and this is what a PlayStation game is now.
Yeah,
you know what
Media
I mean?
Molecule is the last, and Team Asobi is like the last of like fun PlayStation.
Right.
So if anything happens,
PS1,
to those,
PS2 era PlayStation.
Yeah. So if anything ever happens to those, it's like, okay, PlayStation's dead. Like,
yeah, they're not. They're not the company that I know them as.
They have no soul over there, you know. It's
right.
Just, granted, like again, the games aren't bad, but there's this there's like a lack of soul and creativity, like Media Molecule and Team Asobi, which I'm stoked about. Astrobot, I'm so excited about that, dude. The controller,
dude, next
new
month,
controller,
next month.
The new controller looks so sick. Oh, I want it so bad. If only I had monies, I would have bought that PS5 controller in an instant. It was so gorgeous. It had like the little eyes peeking out of the touchpad.
Yes, it's so good.
Loved it.
I can't wait for that game. Give it to me.
Ooh, Carrie got one. She says, I ordered the controller. It's a birthday
present
you
did?
To me. So nice. Well, happy birthday to you. Get a sick controller. That's awesome. And apparently they're going for like a ton on eBay now too, which sucks. Like obviously scalpers.
Of course.
Sell them for way more. It's like, sucks. Maybe one day, in like 30 years, no one cares about it anymore. I'll be able to get one. We'll see.
When they're all yellowed and
when they're all it's
full
not
of finger
anymore.
grease and Doritos.
Yellow, yeah.
Or you can buy one in the box for like $2,000.
Just take a magic eraser to it. It'll be good to go.
It'll probably disintegrate the rubber on it at that point in 30 years.
Oh man. Is that it? You playing anything else, or is that it?
No, those were the majority of what I had going on. But I am curious to know what, if anything, outside of the game of life, have you been playing?
Yes. I finished Read Only Memories Neurodiver.
You did? Interesting. Tell me more.
Very, very good. To kind of reiterate, because I felt like I did a bad job at it last time. It is a kind of point and click adventure game, point and click visual novel, kind of, right? Fully voice acted. Hang on, let me find a good description. I love how there's a description and then it cuts off. Like it's not the full thing.
It's a visual novel, point and click, like a mystery thriller almost.
Yeah. Okay.
Or a whodunit.
It is take on the role of ES-88, a young Esper employed by Minerva, a powerful organization specializing in information science, neurotechnology, and extrasensory phenomena. She has been tasked with tracking down the Golden Butterfly, a mysterious psychic entity hiding in and fragmenting the memories of Neo San Francisco's citizens. Who are they? Why are they doing this? And how will you stop them? So yes, it's a fun like mystery detective game. You are this agent within this company Minerva, where you go and your main ability is fixing people's memories. So people who have damaged memories or whatnot, you can go in there, help unscramble what's going on, and help them remember what the important things they need to remember. At this point, it's like, oh, I'm here to, her task is all very positive jobs. But very quickly, some hard decisions come up in this game, and the story gets real intense with, okay, who's this golden butterfly? What are we dealing with here? Man, it was such a good game. It was short. I wish it was longer. I feel like 2064 was longer.
Mm-hmm.
If I remember right, like that was a longer game, and I like that. But man, I still highly recommend it. The soundtrack is top notch, as it was with 2064 read only memories. Like that was incredible. I loved how I guess minor spoiler, you get to see a character from 2064 read only memories as soon as they're like, oh, we're gonna go see so and so. I'm like, what?
No
really?
way!
Are you kidding me? Like, oh man, that was so freaking good. I thought the ending was a little, I don't know. It wasn't. I wasn't expecting it. It wasn't like predictable, but also I was kind of like, I feel like, again, I think it's more the issue. My overall issue is that it was too short. I feel like if we had more time, it could have explored a little more of like the abilities and people's backstories and whatnot. I just feel like it was kind of rushed. I guess that's what I feel like. I feel like it was rushed, and that the end was not earned because of that.
Okay.
But at the same time, it was still a good and fun story. And I loved like the dialogue options that were in there, and again, like getting a little like, all right, get to see little characters from before, and it was overall a very good game. I don't know if I would give it like as high praise as 2064 read only memories, but it was still a fun game, especially if you've played 20. I wouldn't recommend playing this if you haven't played 2064 read only memories, because you're gonna be like, it's short, I don't understand what's going on, whatever. But having the callback to 2064 and kind of extending the universe takes place a couple years later, it's like, okay, this was a fun little game, and for the price, it's only like $15. Like it's not even like a full price.
It's
game.
A worthy addition to the lineup.
Yeah, it feels like a little like a little, almost feels like an epilogue type thing, but like, or like a spin-off though. Like it's just like, oh, it's not fully committing and having all the original characters in it, but it's like, oh, here's like another story, kind of like a Star Wars stories, how they have like Solo,
right?
Like, that's what it kind of feels like. It's like, oh, here's like just another little story happening in that world a couple years later.
It's a read only memory story.
Exactly. So
okay, I don't hate that idea.
So if you've played 2064 read only memories, definitely play this game. It's fantastic. If you haven't played it, I'm not saying don't play this, but please, for the love of God, play 2064 read only memories, because that game is absolutely phenomenal, and will help make this one make more sense. Is 2064, that's available like on pretty much everything now, right? Because they
pretty much everything. Yeah, at PC, pretty much every console. I think even the original cut was out on mobile at one point.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, no, if you want it, you can find it, and it goes on sale pretty often. But I think it's only like, I think both of these are only like $15 each, and that's well worth the price of entry for what you get. So
totally, 100%. Yeah, and even in Neurodiver, this new one that I played, is also on everything as well. So play 2064 read only memories, and then play read only memories Neurodiver. Great 1-2 punch there. Very good. Very, very good. Mm-hmm. The second game I started up after finishing that. I'm
2 games.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm feeling like sticking in this indie realm, and I'm feeling like something that's kind of cyberpunk. Let's see. So I tried this game. I heard about it initially. I think it was at a Summer Game Fest like last year, one of the events. I don't remember which event, but I feel like I remember seeing it. It's called Let Bygones Be Bygones.
Okay, I'm listening.
I'm about 3 hours into this, and I don't know how to feel about it. I initially was extremely hyped because the trailer, it's incredible graphics. It's kind of like a 2.5D pixel art type thing. The soundtrack sounded good in all the trailers. Like, it seemed like, oh, this is like a cool, gritty detective tale. And I even had heard, and again, I could be wrong, but I could have swore I remember like Tim Geddes from Kind of Funny, like having like a clip they put on social media, or like I listened to a stream, and I thought I remember him saying he got to try it early and he enjoyed it. I could be wrong about that, but I remember, like, I don't know, I have this vivid memory of attaching him to it for some reason. Boy, when I got this and jumped into it, I was almost immediately like, oof, what is this game? It has the art style I like. So immediately I'm like, ooh, this is so pretty. This is so good. I like this. But man, right off the bat, the dialogue is absolutely horrendous. I don't know. So the studio who makes it, it's called Bohemian Pulp. They've only made 2 games. Well, the second game, I don't even know if it's out yet. It might be still be in development, called Azure Unseen. So Azure Unseen, and let bygones be bygones. The description here: welcome to planet Terra Hive, a planet that never should have existed, completely encrusted in a disease called humanity. Corporate archaeologies and space elevators shadow the layers of polluted man-made edifices, overseen by ancient brains and apparatuses, and driven by greed, corruption, progress, and immortality. Like, reading that sounds incredible. And if anything, actually, as reading that, it makes me think of like, this sounds like the Warhammer 40,000 lore, where it's like Earth, but oh man, we're so far from humanity. Like, it's dark, grimdark, messed up, twisted stuff happening, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm like, I am all in. But let me tell you, yeah, the dialogue, so bad, so cheesy, typos. And so it has voice acting, but while they're talking, there's text. Half the time, the text doesn't match the voice. Like, there's straight up typos or just saying completely different things. I'm like, that's just quality control. Like, how did that get messed? This has been out for a few months, by the way. It came out back in April. The dialogue's cringy. Just some of the things they're saying. I was talking to Adrian beforehand. I'm like, there's just moments where they straight up are just like, some of the characters are just making really stupid, cliche, cheesy jokes. And then other times it's straight up like, oh, wow, that is like such a wild stereotype of this character. Like, this is a generic Asian character with a generic stereotype Asian voice. Or there's like this Jamaican dude who owns like a, you don't even see him, but it's just very obvious, like, again, the stereotypical like Jamaican accent. He runs the shop where you buy like a phone charger from. And it's just like some of the things he's saying, I was like, what is it like? And there are all sorts of different like crazy, like really wild character choices in that, which I'm like, this doesn't even make sense. Like, this is so like out of left field, and like trying to use different slang from these different cultures that just like, I don't think that's how that works. So it's like people using these like different cultures without really understanding what they are, which is just very interesting. So again, it was more just like it just made it so cringy to play through. I'm just like, this almost feels like you're trying too hard, right? You're trying hard to be inclusive, but in a wrong way. That makes sense. Like, I don't know. It was very wild to play through. The story is kind of cliche. I was expecting more depth. I haven't finished it by the way, though. Like, there's could make a twist and turn here that I'm missing. I'm like halfway through Act 2, I think. There's 3 acts. So I don't know. Yeah, it's hard to stick with it, but I feel like because it's so short, like I've put 3 hours and I'm already like more than halfway through. I want to stick with it and finish it, but there's just too much wrong with it. It's hard for me to recommend, you know, even though it's just a point and click. It's another point and click adventure. Like, the guy walks around in the world. You can see him in the space and click on different things and investigate different things, but there's really not a lot to click on. And then it's, yeah, I don't know. It's not a very intuitive point and click game. It's not well made.
So this is an example of how to not make a point and click adventure versus the last point and click adventure that you made, which is actually really, really good.
Exactly. Yeah. So playing through Read Only Memories and then playing through this, I'm like, wow, what a drastic drop in quality. There's a lot of potential in this game. That's the thing. Like, if they actually, it blows me away how far they missed, because like the skeleton is there for the most part, but then they just whiffed it in like a couple of areas, and it's like, whoa, like, man, if the dialogue was just like checked over by anyone else, I don't know if if anyone proofread this and made some edits, it could have been better. The story just needed like a couple more passes and like make it add a little more interest to it, like, but it almost feels like, I mean, it is a small team, but it almost feels like, all right, they just like, it was probably like one or two of the people's jobs, and they just sat down, did it, knocked it out, and maybe they should have had a little like a team meeting and talked about it. I don't know. I hate to be super negative on indie games because we love indie games, but this is one of those rare times where it's like, woof, it just needed more time to cook. And the fact that Act 3 didn't launch with the game. Like when you bought the game in April, you had to wait like a few weeks to get the ending of the game. So they even launched it not finished, which is wild. So.
It's you know, and we champion indie games, but we also have to keep in mind that just like any other, you know, form, they are art, right? And while, you know, it's hard to categorize art as good or bad, right? Because it's all somebody's expression, and it's all somebody's, you know, vision of what they want to what message they're trying to get across, or what feeling they're trying to invoke. And it's not invalid because it's not considered quote unquote good. Mm-hmm. It's just that whatever they were trying to convey, unfortunately, didn't come through as effectively as it could have for a major audience. And there's gonna be indie games, right, that fall into that category of, oh, it wasn't that great. But at the same time, there are going to be indie games that are fantastic, that are literal. They've broken through, and they are now, when you think of video games, you know, some of those, Shovel Knight, Undertale, Limbo, you know, games like that, they are in the lexicon of what is a video game, because they've gotten so large. So, you know, that's just the way it goes with any kind of creative endeavor like that. There's going to be good ones, and there's going to be not so good ones. Yeah. But that's, you know what I mean? Not much we can do about that, unfortunately.
Yeah. One interesting thing in the game, which I haven't experienced yet because it involves playing the game over and over and over again, but it's a dialogue tree with each conversation. Like you have different options and different things you can say and different points. And apparently, so it even says here, it says here in Steam, it kind of explains it a little clearer. Make choices from 3 different personalities and build your skill set. We'll choose a logical scientific approach, or recklessly swing it with your gun as a partner, or empathetically connect with people. You will shape your detective, and the world will react based on your personas you build. Apparently, there's thousands of different choices and 5+ different endings with endless variations in between. So there's 5 main endings, and then within those endings, there's a bunch of variations that can change as well. So like they do have that. So it is kind of designed to keep playing over and over again and like play different ways. And I'm sure you get different parts of the stories and more character and stuff like that. But my issue isn't necessarily with, like, the characters are interesting. It's just like how they're written is not great, and how the, you know, in the story so far. But I don't know. Maybe it is a game that involves more than one playthrough. It's just hard to get me to come back for a second try when the first try is kind of already like, all right, when's this going to be done? Like I just kind of want to finish it just to get it off my backlog, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, so I'm probably going to keep going with that. I do want to say, I guess this only applies to people who are watching live, but Tuesdays are my stream days. Let me tell you, I think I'm going to stream a new game this week. I've been doing Kingdom Hearts 2, but we got a code for a new game.
Really?
It says there's. I'm reading the email. I'm reading the email now because I want to make sure I'm not going to get in trouble. It says there's no embargo on review coverage. So I assume that means we can talk about it, right? It doesn't come.
You guys are getting the scoop along with me. I didn't hear anything about this.
Okay,
so.
It comes out. The game that comes out the 15th. It's an indie game. We've seen it before on, I believe, Wholesome Direct. It's called like Odada or Odada. It's like a music making game.
Yes, I saw this at Day of the Devs.
Okay.
Where it looks like it's a bunch of like models almost.
Models and little toys and trinkets and stuff.
Yes.
To make music. So I got a code. It says there's no embargo. So I assume that means I'm allowed to play it on. I've seen other people playing it on stream, I feel like. So I think it's okay. If not, I guess we're not getting any more codes from them. But I'm planning on streaming that tomorrow, which is the 13th. I'm really excited about it, to do something new. Take a break from Kingdom Hearts a little bit. So yeah, look forward to that. Join me tomorrow, usually in the afternoon. So like around like 1 or so. 1:30. We'll see what time it is. But tomorrow afternoon, Tuesday, when I stream. And if you miss it, if you're catching this later on the podcast, obviously on YouTube or podcast app, everything's archived on Twitch and YouTube. So you can go to our channel and watch it back, see what it's all about. See if you want to pick it up. Comes out the 15th. I'm excited to play through that. Make some music. All right. Well, that's all I got this week, Adrian. But thanks so much, everyone, for listening, for watching, whether it's live here at twitch.tv/SuperGamerBoys, later on youtube.com/SuperGamerBoys, or listening on podcast apps around the world. Thank you. We appreciate you so much. Couldn't do it without you. We would try to, but it wouldn't be the same. We appreciate having you guys listening and watching along with us and interacting with us, hanging out with us. I do want to give a huge shout out to, I jumped ahead of my show notes. No, I'll stay with that thought. Shout out to our Patreon supporters. You guys are awesome. Thank you all so much. Patreon.com/SuperGamerBoys. You can support us over there starting at just $1 a month all the way up to $15 a month. 4 different tiers to choose from, 4 different sets of perks, all building on each other. Think about supporting us over there if you love what we do. Want to help us make cool things for you folks. We appreciate each and every one of you who do support us, and love to see some new faces over there. It's fun. Just what was that? Just last week we added another Patreon Super Gamer sponsor. So if you're interested, go check it out. Patreon.com/SuperGamerBoys. SGBstore.com. You can also support us by buying merch over there. Buy t-shirts, buy shorts, buy cups, buy mugs, buy stickers. We got it all. We got something over there. Hoodies. I know it's still hot out there. It's been freaking hot in San Diego. Humid. Dude, it was like last night. It's so bad. It did not cool off last night. I mean, technically, I think it got down to like 70 something, but with the humidity, it's like 80 something % humidity, dude. I was sweating to death. I was like, no blankets.
I hate summer so much.
No shirt, just like shorts, and that's it. I'm like still like dying. It was horrible. It did rain. Yoga Archangel's in the chat. It did rain, but it like almost.
You got rain? I haven't seen rain in months.
It was like
I miss rain so much.
It was cool for a few hours, and then it just all the moisture on the ground made it muggy. So that's what we had to live with last night. Anyways, we got some fun stuff at sgbstore.com for all seasons, whether it's summer or not summer. Rate and review us where you can, whether it's over on Spotify and Apple Podcast. Yoga Archangel makes a good point. The rain was unexpected and strange. Yeah, San Diego, we usually get rain for there's 1, maybe 2 months of the year where we might get rain a couple times. We don't get rain ever down here, and so it was wild to have rain in the middle of summer. It didn't make any sense. Shout out to Jack, Sriracha, Yate, and DJ Trooz for allowing us to use their music on the show. Make sure you go find them on Apple Music and Spotify. Tonight we're listening to DJ Trooz, so go look him up, listen to his stuff. It's good stuff. Find us during the week over at supergamerboys.com, Twitter and Instagram at supergamerboys. I'm on Twitter and Instagram at gmorlang. Adrian, where can the fine folks find you at?
You can find me any and everywhere on this here internet at Homeboy, HOLMBOI.
And that's all I got. So Adrian, take us away.
Sounds like a plan, folks. Just like always, thank you for hanging out with us for another episode of the Super Gamer Boys podcast. As always, and as Garrett has already said, we appreciate any and all forms of support, whether that's hanging out here in the live recording of the podcast, watching video on demand, listening to the audio podcast, hanging out in the Discord, or just telling your botanist about us. It all helps. We appreciate any and all support in all forms. We are still zooming along to our goal of 500 subscribers on YouTube. I think we're getting ready to hit 450 here pretty soon.
We're so close to 450. We're getting there.
And I really think we still got about 4 months. I definitely think we can hit it before then. And that would be a huge milestone compared to where we were in the beginning of the year. So yeah, word of mouth is very important. Please continue to hang out with us and support us if you like what we're doing. And with that, we shall take our leave for this week. And as always, we are the Super Gamer Boys.
And we'll catch you on the flippity flop.
I don't have anything this week for a bit, do you?
I never have anything for a bit. I am completely unprepared each and every week.
Oh, see, I didn't know I was carrying the bit. Oh,
That's
boy.
you. It's all on you. It's all on you. Carrie says, love you guys. Love you too, Carrie. Get better soon. There's our bit.
There we go. All right. Oh, wait. Hi-Fi Rush is back. Let's go.
Let's go.
Forgot about that. Woo!